it's the Thursday, Sunday. It's a long trip down to Bournemouth, and you struggled against Bournemouth last season.
Not did we struggle? They battered us twice.
There's not a single long trip in your guys' entire country. I don't want to hear it.
This is a good 6-hour drive from
Newcastle
6
down
hours.
To Bournemouth. That's a day trip.
Right, fine. You haven't got the M25 in America, so.
Hello everyone, welcome back. It's another episode of Watch More Football, and this is the one where we look ahead to the future. What's coming next, what our predictions are going to be, and what we're kind of worried about with our teams as well. And that's kind of where we're going to focus a little bit on this week. My name's Cam Clark. I'm here with Ryan, and we've got producer Kyle as well. And you're watching us on Genreverse Sports. So a like and a subscribe if you like what you see today would really help us out. While you're on there as well, we're part of the main Genreverse YouTube channel as well. It's Genreverse family, we shall call it, of YouTube channels. So our main one on there is our kind of, it covers anime, loads of stuff to do with that, reviews, reactions, that sort of content. Please check it out if you like that sort of thing. And if you're more into written content, you prefer to read, like me, you're old school, I am one of the writers for limonline.com as well, and I'd rather sit and write my thoughts down and let you read them than do podcasts most of the time. But you know, this one is just a bit of fun. It's about football, isn't it? So everybody likes to chat about football. And if you're watching this and you think, no, I don't even like your strange soccer football game, what are you watching this for? That's what it's about. So we in our earlier episode this week, we reviewed the last set of games. Your team obviously lost the Manchester derby, which wasn't a huge surprise, but we're going to cover your thoughts in Manchester United, because there's been as every week that goes by, there's been a lot that's said about them. But I think we'll probably start with my thoughts on Newcastle United as well. We've had a strange start to the season so far. We've had a lot of positive vibes from people without getting points on the board, if that makes sense. So a lot of people have said, oh yeah, it's a shame Newcastle didn't have a striker. They would have won this game. They should have done better, got at least a point against Liverpool after even going a man down. Should have probably beat Leeds if they had the striker on, although that one would be maybe slightly less convincing than the opening one against Aston Villa. And then this weekend we finally got a win because we've got a striker in and he scored a goal on his debut, which was excellent. I don't think anybody thinks here's the next Alexander Isak yet with Walter Mada. He's got a lot to learn. He could only last about 60 minutes because he was cramping up. So, you know, it's going to take time. But what worries me about Newcastle going forward, Ryan, is that our other new striker signing, who I think was supposed to be the complete package and the one that was probably going to play more minutes this season and let Walter Mada just develop because he's only a young lad, and maybe that switches as the years go around. As the Wissett is injured and he won't be back until the October international break roughly. They're not a serious injury, but enough to keep him out the next 4 weeks or something like that, unfortunately, which is a lot of games of football for Newcastle. We've got, starting this week, I think this usually plays on a Thursday night, so I may be sitting watching this game that I'm talking about right now while you're watching this. But we do have Barcelona in the Champions League this year.
Can I just interject on that?
Yep.
Just the fact that, you know, you get back into the Champions League, you know, you got there a couple of years ago, you missed out last season, you get back into the Champions League, go from qualifying from the Europa League to qualifying from the Champions League on the final day of the season, and then they make you fucking play on a Thursday. That takes the piss. It really does.
Yeah, I think it's like it's only the first week they do this, isn't it? Because there's no Europa League games initially. So they do this for the first game, and then it's back to just being Tuesday week.
I think it's liberty. I think you earn the right to not play on a Thursday. If it's good enough for Barcelona, then it's good enough for us as well. So, you know, and all the other teams that are playing Thursday night this week as well. I'm really looking forward to it, and obviously at the moment there's no major
injury concerns other than Wissa and Ramsey. But what I'm thinking about is just the next few weeks when we're playing 2 games a week, Champions League midweek, Premier League weekend, Champions League again, that's what it's going to be until Wissa's back. And to only have Walter Mada there, who is just a young lad, I just can't see how he can play 90 minutes every game without absolutely killing himself, and then he's it when Wissa comes back. So I don't expect us to. I do expect us to have a couple of draws or results where don't quite go our way, up until we get the full kind of squad back again, if that makes sense. And
I mean, you have got quite a tough sort of 2-week run. You've got obviously Barcelona on Thursday. You're away to Bournemouth on Sunday, which it's the Thursday, Sunday. It's a long trip down to Bournemouth, and you struggled against Bournemouth last season.
Not did we struggle? They battered us twice.
There's not a single long trip in your guys' entire country. I don't want to hear it.
This is a good 6-hour drive from Newcastle down to Bournemouth.
That's a day trip.
Right, fine. You haven't got the M25 in America, so.
I mean, they could fly, I guess.
Yeah, they could. They could. And then obviously you got Bradford in the Cup next week, which you can play quite a week inside.
You like to think so, yeah?
Because League Two sides never do anything in the Carabao Cup. Just famously,
but we are at home against them, I believe, if memory serves. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You were kind of when you're away, it's a lot harder.
Yeah. And then obviously, next weekend you've got home to Arsenal, which is always a feisty game. And if you're just feeling it in the legs a little bit, what makes Newcastle good against Arsenal is possibly not going to be there.
Yeah. I know, so that's why I think we will need to rest against Bradford to have the legs against Arsenal, and then we're straight back into kind of like Champions League again after that. Yeah. So it's it's a tough few weeks, and it's not great that Wissa hasn't even played for us yet, and he went in international football and got injured. One thing that changed this week, I think, going forward, though, that I just wanted to mention, because we've talked about it in the chat, Ryan, and it's quite a good thing, and I got off Newcastle, is that next year they're starting changing the international window. So what we have at the moment is we have like 3 games, and then it's international break for a week, and then we start back the games again, and then October you've got an international break again. What they're going to do next year is squish the 2 of those international breaks into one 3-week thing and have it start sort of in the last week of September, or the kind of 21st of September, I think, till the start of October. And that will make a big difference, because it just allows that bit more time for, especially after the transfer window shuts, the likes of Isaac, Wissa, who couldn't train with their new teams, and they're away to internationals. So Wissa goes to international, gets injured, comes back, he's still not trained with us yet. Isaac signed for Liverpool, spoke to the manager on the phone and jumped on a plane to go to Sweden. It's not ideal, so I do hope it will be better.
It's better for the fans as well, because it's only really, by the time you got to the end of the international break or whatever tournament, it's only really sort of a few weeks of sort of no meaningful football happening, but they really drag on. And then the Premier League starts and you've got all the optimism, and then you have deadline day and you've signed all these shiny new players that you can't wait to see, and then bang, you're looking up at, in the middle of the night, a game of Argentina versus Bolivia, so you can watch your new signing play, and you've got to wait 2 weeks for the league to come back, and
then you see them like I did getting hobbled off. Just think, oh. And these things happen, but it's the timing. The timing's just.
But I think if you give it a good 5 or 6 weeks before the first international break, it just gives the season time to sort of settle and take shape and get going. And fine, that extended break is going to be something to get used to. But I think it's going to be better for the international. I think it's going to be better for the international teams, because they'll get some actual meaningful time on the pitch to actually build.
That's right.
Because at the minute
it's better for both.
They get 2 weeks every month or so for 3 months, where they've got to shoehorn 2 games and all the travel in there, so they get barely any training time. If you've got a whole 3-week camp, you can get a lot of work done in that time. It's basically a pre-season,
and it's an extra game at least as well. So it'll be like 4 games that they'll have.
I think it'll probably be 4 games.
And sort of 3.5 weeks together, or whatever. By the time they join the camp, because they go straight to when they finish, training to start training before it really kicks off, kind of thing. So the only thing I'm kind of, it's a bit weird. How's the Champions League going to work? Because as we said, this is the start of the Champions League week, and then next week would be the international break for 3 weeks. So they're going to play 1 game and then come back to the Champions League after that, or do they start the Champions League a wee bit earlier?
I think they'll probably start the Champions League a bit earlier, but although it wouldn't be, it would actually,
at least a couple of games in.
I think it would be more, if we look at Newcastle's fixtures, I think it would be more. So you've got the Champions League this week, you've got the Carabao Cup next week, and I think that is more likely that sort of window, because not every country has got that second cup competition. So I think that would, I think the League Cup can move around that a bit more than the Champions League can. And
I guess I know what you mean. Talking about League Cup, it's kind of a nice segue into kind of talking about your team, because obviously you should have been playing tonight in the League Cup against Sheffield Wednesday, but Grimsby is in there instead. And kind of like, it's funny because with you guys, and you predicted that this would happen. You made a few good signings in the summer, but I still felt like if you had got a Believer or somebody in midfield, that could have been the game changer. But without him, I still felt it was just a step along the line to improving you. But of course, the media hyped you up beyond belief, and were predicting you would get Champions League and all that sort of stuff this year. And it was really since the Grimsby game that everyone started to kind of go negative against. And as you predicted would happen, once it starts, like once Amorim fails to win a couple of games, then the pressure is just going to be right on him, and it has been big time. And all the talk since, I don't think I never expected you to beat Man City at their place. Do you know? I'll be honest, but we did it. It seems as if it's a bigger thing than it should be.
Well, I think there's a couple of things in play. I think, fine, City should be the favourites at home, but we've actually gone there and got results quite consistently over the last few years. We won there last season, quite early on into Ruben's tenure. It's more that it's where sports media is just a constant content machine. It's very, very profitable to point out how bad United are, because all of the people consuming that content had their childhoods ruined by Man United winning everything all the time. So there are a lot of people who take great pleasure in going, United are shit at the minute. So I think,
to be fair, I am one of those people. I am absolutely one of those people. But I would take the same pleasure in Liverpool being crap when they were crap for 20 years. I would take the same pleasure in Arsenal being crap or Spurs being crap well. City, I'm a bit I just think of them as just being plastic nobodies, to be honest.
It's difficult, because I'm fully on board with the idea that things are quite grim for United at the minute. I don't see a way out, certainly under Amorim, but even if we got a new manager in, because the problems are not about personnel, they're not about tactics. It's all about, as I was saying all day on Sunday, it's about motivating the players to run through a brick wall to get a result. They just weren't willing to do that against City. And until you get somebody who can find that magic formula to put the rocket up everyone, doesn't matter who you bring in, doesn't matter who's on the bench, who's on the pitch.
Surely that's a manager though, Ryan. Surely that's the manager's job. That was Alex Ferguson's job. He was a man manager, a motivator.
And he did that better than anybody else. I don't know who we can bring in who is going to do that job. but we have tried every single type of manager. We have tried every single type of signing. That is the most important thing at the minute. There are other things where we need to improve on. We've been behind the game tactically since even the back end of Fergie's time. We've never been at the forefront tactically, I don't think, as long as I've been watching United. But that is getting more and more apparent as the years goes on. And it's just sort of things like, why aren't we going, oh, if we really drill our set pieces and get some good set piece routines going, because we've got a squad full of really big lads. Those are some really easy games where we can stop letting in as many goals and we can start scoring a few goals. Why is nobody looking at that when every other team is pouring so much into the set pieces? It's all that sort of thing. But the main thing is the players get on the pitch and they might play well for 15, 20 minutes, but if it doesn't go in for them or something changes, they just do not have it in them to just go that extra step. Like what we said in the last episode, Doku with the first City goal, he chased down a dead ball and did what he could to get it back into a danger zone, and Foden was alive to it and headed it. It was, we broke on City quite a bit, but nobody had the quickness of thought to really exploit it, so the attacks broke down. Whereas Haaland is sort of loitering on the halfway line, we're pressing, we've got high line, the ball comes loose. As soon as the ball comes loose, Haaland is on his bike, and it means the City midfielder can just play it into him, past the defenders who are nowhere, and it's a goal. But there's nobody on United that are just, it's game intelligence and it's willingness, and that's among multiple managers has not been there.
How Amorim coaches, right? But a lot has been made, that he's very rigid in this formation, and it's like, he's one of these visionary managers in terms of the way football should be played. But what I've not seen from him is any coaching skills, any way to make players play better in his system. Here's how I want you to do it. I want you to be here. I want you to stay there.
Exactly.
Like Bruno Fernandes wanders out of position and leaves so many spaces open in that. But he's not a 6 or an 8 for me. I just don't know why he's there. I know it worked out a little bit last year in some games where people were against lesser teams, but against us,
that's the frustration.
Wiped out playing the Bruno, and against Man City, it felt like that again. If you're playing against a big team, you can't play Bruno and Casemiro as your midfield or Agati. They're not good enough.
That's the thing is that we've spent a lot of money on a new front three, and yet we're relying on a moment of magic out of Cunha and Mbeumo to actually get us the goals. There's no you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and that's going to get the ball to Sesko, who's going to put it in. It's like Voltemard's goal for Newcastle. That is, we're going to get it out to Murphy. Murphy's going to run down the byline. He's going to put a perfect cross in, and Voltemar's going to head it. There's none of that. And
and you're not creating anything for Sesko, so he looks lost because it's like, wait, are you not supposed to be trying to get the ball to me in scoring positions? That's what I feel like. He's getting a lot of blame, but there's no service.
But this is where the Man United content machine takes over, because all the way through Amorim's tenure, all of the talk has been about the three at the back, but none of the issues I'm talking about have anything to do with the fact that we're playing three at the back. It's all to do with we're not approaching games smartly, and we're not.
I think it's your midfield. I'm just going to say, if I look at that midfield of Mazraoui, Drogu, Casemiro, or any of them that you would put in that four, I just don't see any of them as being really good. So I think your defence are decent, and I think your attack's decent, but in the middle.
But my issue is it's less about Amorim's tactics, and fine, there are issues with the tactics, but it is less about the formation, which is what everybody is hyper focused on, and it is more about Amorim is just not either creating jobs for players that suit them or trying to coach the players. It's like the whole thing with Kobbie Mainoo is he's just been outclassed because he's not doing what Amorim wants, and it's like, well, why aren't you telling him what you want and helping him get there? Because
Mainoo's meetings with him every day. Do this.
Mainoo's skill set,
drop back a bit.
Mainoo's skill set on paper offers a lot of what we're missing. So why are we not trying to say, right, you're going to do this? What I see, what I'm talking about with the hysteria is that any article you get about Man United and how wrong it's going will always come back to, oh, Ruben's not straying from his three at the back. You look at how tactically poor Spurs were under Postecoglou last season. Nobody is telling him to not play a back four. But because it's United, because that's the easy pickings, it's like, oh, we can batter him for playing three at the back. Which
I think it's that whole Man United should be playing attacking football with two wingers, and but that's not the way the game's been for a while. So
it's just disappointing.
It used to
because
be a 4-4-2, now it's a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
But
all season I've been saying that there's been times when we've played some really good stuff and it's looked good, but they haven't been able to sustain it for 90 minutes. There's been two games where they just haven't turned up at all, Grimsby and the derby on the weekend, and they've been quite damaging losses. And it can be hard to get players up for an early, a cup round that they shouldn't have been in because they should have qualified for Europe last season, away against a League Two side. Hard to motivate players for that. But then he rotated the squad a bit, and there's players who could be staking the claim, Mainu in particular, who just didn't turn up. And again, if you can't motivate the players away at City, what are you doing?
That's what I don't get. I just don't see him as a man motivated. And it's like he doesn't understand why they're not playing this great. He's got this great technical vision for how the game should be played in his head. He's telling them what he wants them to do in a tactics board, and then they're not doing it, and he's exasperated as to why.
But when it works,
when
it works, it looks really good. But for whatever reason, the players just aren't doing it for 90 minutes. And so, sometimes they're not doing it at all. I'm at the point because I think Ruben Amorim is not going to see out the season. That's that much is clear.
I don't think so.
It is just a matter of basically the only thing keeping him.
He's gone as well.
The only thing keeping him in the job is the fact that Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox pushed really hard for him, so they will time the sacking.
An ego thing.
They will time the sacking at the point that saves the most face for them. And unfortunately, that means the situation is going to get a lot worse before that happens.
Has to get worse. Yeah.
I'm at the point where
their hand is forced. When they say, "Look, we gave him a chance," but
I'm at the point where I would be over the moon to have a season of Solskjaer coming back and just bringing the good times for a bit. We're going to be inconsistent. We're going to be inconsistent all season all the way. But I just want to. He got the players playing, and he got much worse players playing than what we've got in the squad at the moment. Mm-hmm. So that would be nice. And also,
he got January. I think you should be looking at trying to pick up. I think you should. And not sure you will because they're not high profile enough for the media. But I think there's managers like Glasner, like Areola, who I think would just get you to a point, even for a few years of like playing with pride and passion again. And who knows what they could do with good players.
I think Glasner. I would love Glasner to come in because he plays a similar system, but he's got Palace playing more than the sum of their parts, and we need the United players to just play as the sum of their parts. I'd accept that, never mind overperforming that. The issue is there's plenty
be stuck on it as well if it to do it a different way. I think he'd do that.
There's plenty of managers who I think could do a tactical job for Man United and improve things that way. You have got to marry that with a manager who's able to cope with all the nonsense that comes with managing United. And I think Antonio Conte is another one who I think is a possibility, but then he, towards the end of his time at Spurs, lost his head a little bit, and I just wonder if that would be accelerated at United. But again, he is one that
I don't think it's a good idea. He'd come in and demand 400 million to buy this player and that player.
But equally, I mean, he'll get that money, to be honest, and Ineos has shown that. But what he can do, if he gets it right and if the circumstances are there and he's got the right people in the dressing room, is he can put a rocket up the players and get them playing. And so I'd love to see that, but he's in a title race with that.
I think with Conte, he kind of peaks you up like that, but then it drops back down again.
But do you know what?
I don't know.
But I'd love to hit that peak, to be honest. I'd love to hit that peak,
and then if we Man United that want to be a dominant big team, I think you need to.
Yeah, but we've got Yeah, we've got so far to go before we're there. I would take one season of madness that ends in some sort of success and say, thank you, sir. You've given us a platform where you go, and then we'll be sensible.
He'll probably leave Napoli at the end of the year anyway, won't he? Because he never stays anywhere for too long. So you never know. But
I don't know.
If I was at Man United, I'd be looking at Premier League managers that have done it consistently.
I think
try to be stupid and get one from another team that don't want to let him go or something like that.
I think the choice, if it happens in the near future, I think Marco Silva is a possible choice mainly because I think of his potential availability. I think he's taken Fulham as far as he can. He's out of contract at the end of the season, but he is another one who can look at a player and go, right, I'm going to turn you into a player. I'm going to get you doing this. And he's tactically flexible. He can motivate the players. I think he's a good manager. He's not an elite manager, but we are so far off the league. No. We can't be picky with that anymore. It's just.
I just think Areola and Glasner are better options, but they would be harder to get as well.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see your point there. But yeah, I just maybe the next time we record, we're singing a different tune, but I just don't see things turning.
The thing is, even if, because we played Chelsea on Saturday, and that is sort of, we had quite a tough start. At the start of the season. That I said this at the start of the season, that if the nature of the start means that we're unlikely to get many points from it, but if we don't get many points from it, the Knives will be out. Chelsea's the end of that. Even if we go out and get a 2-0 win over Chelsea and we start looking good, if we don't then follow it up the following week against Brentford and then Sunderland, we're just going to be back at square one. We need to be consistently. We need to be consistently applying ourselves and imposing our game on teams for 90 minutes. And fine if you get a result that doesn't go your way, fine. But you need to start with that. And it just doesn't look like happening at the minute.
Yeah, I think for me, I said I felt if you started well, the confidence would help you to become better. But if you started poorly this season, that low confidence would work against you guys. And I think that's kind of the way it's.
What's interesting as well.
Listen,
there's just one more thing that might sort of move the needle on this a bit more is that Benfica are doing their presidential elections at the minute, and one of the candidates there is making a big deal if he wants to bring Ruben Amorim there.
Yeah,
so it
save
could
him from his Man United hell, I think the headline was.
But I think.
But then the other candidate is saying that he's going to get Jurgen Klopp to come out of retirement and win the Champions League for them. So,
Meanwhile, Jose Mourinho's out of a job. So
these kind of, Latin kind of.
Club presidents. But I mean, I think
presidential elections happen. It's almost like an American presidential election. We'll promise this, I promise that, and then nothing happens.
If Benfica got on the phone and said, "Oh, what would it take to get Ruben out of his contract?" I think we would be quite keen to make a deal, because it means that Brada and Wilcox wouldn't have to fire him, and they could just accelerate the plans without it having to get to breaking point. So I think that could work well for everyone if it happens, but I don't know how quickly it can happen.
Yeah, I don't know how that process works for them and stuff like that. But I think they were more looking at end of the year, but who knows? So on to our predictions then for next week and what we've kind of got for our next set of games. As we mentioned a couple already, that Bournemouth are at home in Newcastle. You are, where are you again?
We're at home to Chelsea. And then
Chelsea, we just talked about that as well. That's
you've got the Merseyside derby Saturday lunchtime as well, which would be an interesting one. Couple of other interesting games. Who have we got? We've got Sunderland versus Villa, which I think is going to be another bad result for Villa, because they're going to have Europe, and Sunderland can give a team a bloody nose. Arsenal versus Man City.
There's no Europe for Villa this week,
is there?
There's no Europa League this year. This week, I think that starts the next set of games or something, or it's next week. So they'll actually have played that game. But I know what you mean. I think they might struggle against Sunderland at the Stadium of Light as well.
And then the other one is Arsenal versus Man City on Sunday. And that's, Arsenal, looked quite good against Forest. They had a fairly comfortable 2-0 win over Bilbao in the Champions League. This is another chance to really push the issue against another title challenger, and I think City held United at arm's length on Sunday, but especially the back four they lined up with, they can be got at. And I think it's, again, Arsenal have got the best squad in the league. They've got the best defence in the league, certainly. I say the best squad. They've got the most depth in the league, I think, now.
Yeah.
What they need to do is they need to show that they can really force the issue when they need to, and they didn't do that against Liverpool.
They didn't do that against Liverpool, no.
They've got another chance in quick succession to do it against another big gun. So we'll see if they can do it. I've gone. I think I went
1-0 Arsenal. You went 1-1, which I think I'm kind of hopeful Arsenal will push on a little bit this year. I don't know why, maybe, and I'm thinking they might get 1-0. I think in previous seasons gone by, I think the 1-1 is the more sort of a logical choice. Because that's the way I could see it going. That Arsenal just don't push it enough, but I think they are at the moment a better team than City. We'll see. Again, it's a good test for City to see how they cope against Arsenal, to be honest, and whether they're at that level.
Well, yeah, but it's just they're home against City. City aren't at their best. If you're trying to win a league, you smell blood there and you go for it. If Arsenal are going to go through the game thinking we've got a point here, that will see us good at the end of the season. They're just not going to end up winning the league at the end of the season. I think really it's only September, but it's just a way of laying down the market to say we mean business this season, which they didn't take against Liverpool, but they really need to against City if they are going to make a proper challenge of it, I think.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you at all. Okay, so that's the end of... Or did you have anything else?
No, I was just going to say Brighton versus Tottenham looks like an interesting one as well. That could go either way. But
I fancy a draw in that one. I must admit. So I don't think Brighton are, again, quite as good as they were a couple of years ago. I still don't see that there. But and Tottenham are a lot better under Thomas Frank than they were under Postecoglou, who's, of course, now at Forest. Mm-hmm. Well, that wraps things up then for this week, or this episode, shall we say. We will be back to review how these results went, how well we did, how badly we did, see if Ryan's still top of our little predictions table and everything when we return again. But for now, thanks very much for watching us, and if you watch to the end, let us know what you like and what you don't like. Give us a like and subscribe if you can, and remember, check out our main Genreverse YouTube channel and LRMonline.com.
And if you didn't watch to the end, give us a comment anyway to let us know why, because it still counts for engagement.
Then they won't have seen this bit because they never watched it.
No, it's fine, because Kyle can put that bit in the cold open, so it's fine.
Right, okay. Anyway, bye-bye. See you next time. Bye-bye.